Everybody, I'm Storm Track meteorologist Nate Harrington. Irma still a very large hurricane as it moves closer to the Cuban coast, about to make landfall in the next 24 hours for folks in South Florida near Key West. Our forecast around here, not too shabby for today. Lots of sunshine, cool temperatures, highs in the middle and upper 70s and close to 80 degrees. We'll track Irma, break it all down for you coming up. The CBS 42 Morning News starts right now.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Right now at 5 a.m., Floridians making their way north as Hurricane Irma approaches South Florida. Interstate 75 between Macon, Georgia and Atlanta is packed. You see it there with cars trying to evacuate. Meanwhile, Cuba is dealing with widespread destruction this morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the CBS 42 Morning News. I'm Jamie Ostroff in for Alex Finney. We have complete coverage of Hurricane Irma and its impacts this morning. We start now with Storm Track meteorologist Nate Harrington, who is in the Weather Center. Nate, what's the latest with Irma? Well,
the latest with Irma still remains a very large, destructive Category 4 storm. Right now with winds of 155 miles per hour. It made a landfall just kind of grazing the Cuban coast early this morning and now back over the open waters. It didn't weaken too much, and we can still see a very well-defined center circulation here just off the Cuban coast. It's moving through some very warm water at this time, and we normally see, even if part of a storm moves over land, it weakens a lot. Cuts off that energy flow, but that just hasn't happened with Irma just yet. It's such a broad, expansive storm. And we're now starting to get radar images from Key West and also Miami, putting together a mosaic for us that we see some of these very large thunderstorms start to move in to the Keys and South Florida. That is just the beginning for folks in South Florida. The particulars now: maximum sustained winds 155 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 12. It will continue this track across the Cuban coast and then make landfall somewhere near Key West, Key Largo by early Sunday morning as a Category 4 storm. Then it moves to the north, affecting the east coast of Florida. And this is important for two reasons. It puts into play a lot of other spots that really we're going to see the kind of the outer fringes of Irma. As a Category 3 storm, it continues to move to the north and then into Georgia by the time we get to Tuesday morning, and then that's when our impacts start. By Tuesday into Wednesday and Thursday, rain, wind, all of the above for us. It also, this track, puts into play the possibility, a very outside possibility, this could be a Gulf of Mexico storm. That's still a very slim chance, but still something we'll have to watch. We'll have more details on Irma, including our forecast, coming up in just a few minutes. Jamie?
Nate, thank you. And with just a day until Hurricane Irma is expected to hit southern Florida, Miami is taking every precaution and people are evacuating. Ian Oliver from the Next Star News Network is in Miami now with a new look at how the city is preparing and evacuating this morning.
Joining you this morning from an empty Ocean Drive in Miami Beach, something you would never see under normal circumstances, but this is a good thing. Evacuation orders for this area were ordered back on Thursday. Last preps finished yesterday. Want to show you this behind me. This is Mango's Tropical Cafe. Spoke to the owner. He was telling me all the stories about the storms they've had to endure. You can tell they've had some practice. Plywood here. They've got the sandbags down bottom. They've got the laundry list of all the storms written here. Andrew, Aaron, Floyd, Francis, Katrina, Wilma, and Matthew, of course, last year. That storm stayed offshore, thankfully. South Florida didn't have to bear the brunt of that storm, but unfortunately, especially for Southwest Florida, that's not going to be the case with Irma. Back to you.
Thank you, and definitely a weird sight to see there on South Beach. Hurricane Irma definitely has Florida in its sights, and the storm's unusual path up the state is not only going to be destructive, but it could also impact the response to the storm. CBS's Dawn Champion is in Daytona Beach with the reason why in a story that's all new this morning.
So many people tried getting out of Florida Friday that drivers were allowed to use the emergency shoulder of a northbound highway. Few places here will be spared from Hurricane Irma's impact.
This storm is wider than our entire state. Think about that. It's wider than our entire state.
The storm's projected path up the spine of Florida will mean the majority of the state will face hurricane-force winds.
We're in a position right now where do you go?
Mike Chitwood is the sheriff of Volusia County, which includes the city of Daytona Beach. He's concerned most about wind damage. After mandatory evacuations were ordered in several places, Chitwood warned anyone who stayed behind might risk being on their own for at least 3 days.
To let them know, there may be a time that we can't help you, depending on wind speeds. We might not be able to get to you. It goes against everything that you do.
High water vehicles are already on standby. SWAT vehicles have even been outfitted for paramedics. But the recovery here could take longer than in previous storms, since resources are spread so thin.
Power outages, for example, could last days and not hours. When Hurricane Matthew hit this area last October, Volusia County alone had more than 3,000 power line workers on standby to respond. This weekend, only about 700 are here.
7,000 Florida National Guard members have been deployed across the state. Don Champion, CBS News, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Northern parts of the Florida Atlantic coast could see storm surges of more than 6 feet from Irma. New this morning, we're getting a look at major damage there caused by Hurricane Irma in the Caribbean. These pictures are from Barbuda. They show major destruction as the island is barely habitable. 90% of all of the structures on that island are damaged, and at least 24 people were killed as the storm made its way through the area. The island is now bracing for Category 4 Hurricane Jose. The city of Birmingham is now serving as a temporary home for many people trying to flee from Hurricane Irma. Traffic was heavy on Interstate 65 in Shelby County yesterday. At nearby gas stations, CBS 42 talked to people traveling from as far as Miami and coastal Georgia. Many families you see there brought their pets along for the ride. And while Birmingham hotels are mostly full this weekend, some families we talked to are traveling to Huntsville and Nashville. Law enforcement warns that there might be more traffic this weekend. It's no surprise hotels are booking up fast as Floridians head north to escape Irma. Storm shelters in Alabama will be filled from south to north with Hurricane Irma evacuees. Once the shelter at Alabama State University in Montgomery reaches 2/3 capacity, that is when Birmingham will be activated and open up the Boutwell Auditorium. Mayor William Bell's office says staff and supplies are on standby in case they're needed. The CBS 42 News and weather teams are closely tracking Hurricane Irma and its impacts. We'll have continuing coverage throughout this newscast and on our free CBS 42 News app. New this morning, the Alabama Department of Corrections is investigating after an inmate was stabbed to death. It happened yesterday at the Bibb County Correctional Facility. 33-year-old Cedric Robinson died after authorities say he was attacked inside a dorm. A second inmate was also stabbed and treated at the prison. The prison is now on lockdown until the DOC completes its investigation. We have some important traffic updates for you. If you're traveling this morning, the Alabama Department of Transportation will be doing emergency pavement repairs on Interstate 65 South in Homewood. The repairs will be at Lakeshore Drive, exit 255. The work will require the left 2 lanes and the shoulder of I-65 to be closed. The work is set to start at 6 a.m. and all lanes are set to reopen no later than 3 this afternoon. You should expect delays, and you are encouraged to take alternative routes. The city of Tuscaloosa is packed with football fans as the Crimson Tide gears up for the home opener today against Fresno State. The Tide is definitely favored to beat the Bulldogs today, and the Auburn Tigers, meanwhile, are on the road this week in South Carolina. They're taking on the Clemson Tigers. Yes, it is the Battle of the Tigers, and lots of Auburn fans made the trip as the team prepares. We'll have more on today's games in our next half hour. But still ahead in this half hour, your time now 5:08 as Houston rebuilds from Hurricane Harvey. There's a warning against flooded cars. Still ahead, the advice you need to hear to keep you and your family safe from scams. Nate?
Continue to watch Hurricane Irma as it moves into the Florida Straits. Some very warm water. Could possibly see it strengthen just a little bit. We'll talk more about our forecast around here in Irma coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back. Let's turn our attention to our weather around here pretty quickly. Lots of sunshine for us on tap today. A clear sky to start off our morning, and all throughout the southeast, pretty much the calm before the storm. We will see the remnants of Irma impact our weather during the beginning of next week. But until then, let's enjoy a really nice weekend. Lots of clear sky. The rainfall already starting down south. Folks in East Florida seeing some rain, not really associated with Irma, but they'll see more of it as we go throughout the next couple of days. Temperatures right now nice and cool. 55 Columbus, 57 Huntsville, 65 Birmingham, 64 right now in Montgomery, 63 in Atlanta, a cool 59 in Macon. Let's get your game day forecast in Alabama for the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa. 79 for tailgating, 81 at kickoff. Absolutely gorgeous day over in T-Town. Now the Auburn Tigers, like we know, they're in Clemson. Temperatures will be very nice once again over there as well. So a very nice football weekend for everyone across the Deep South. But of course, we're going to keep watching Irma very closely over the next several days because everyone in the Deep South will be impacted by that. More details on it coming up in just a few minutes. Jamie.
Thanks a lot, Nate. Covering Jefferson County, Governor Kay Ivey visits Birmingham as part of her Listen, Learn, Help, and Lead tour. Ivey attended the grand opening of the Camtech plant yesterday, cutting the ribbon on the brand new manufacturing facility. The $60 million expansion will add another 100 employees to the facility. The governor also stopped by the Alabama School of Fine Arts, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Finally, Ivey went to the Southern Research Institute yesterday to talk about their accomplishments in disease control.
And right here at Southern Research, of the 8 new drugs discovered for cancer, 7 of them were discovered here. That's more than any other place in the whole world.
Ivey's also announcing her plans to run for governor in 2018. Her campaign has already raised $1 million. In national headlines, former Vice President Joe Biden's daughter is talking about the 2020 presidential election. She says she thinks her father is considering a run for president. However, she did caution that he has not made up his mind at this point, and that decision could be a ways off. She said his focus right now is on the Biden Foundation, the National Cancer Moonshot, and getting other Democrats elected. And we might be seeing more of Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey on cable news. Christie is reportedly in talks to be a cable news contributor after he leaves office in January. Christie has already had conversations with both MSNBC and CNN about a possible deal. Both networks, however, declined to comment on this. The governor's spokesperson says Christie isn't going to discuss his future plans at this point. New Jersey ethics rules prohibit Christie from getting too far in negotiations of this nature while he is in office. In consumer news, Hurricane Harvey is leaving thousands of cars, SUVs, and trucks underwater in Texas and Louisiana. Now, authorities are warning that some of them could end up back on the road. This racetrack you see here outside of Houston has become a refuge of sorts for 10,000 flooded vehicles. It's estimated that rain dumped during Hurricane Harvey ruined about 500,000 cars. After insurers mark those titles as flooded, a lot of those vehicles end up at auctions where they could be sold for parts. However, Christopher Basso with Carfax says scam artists will buy those damaged vehicles, clean them up, and try to resell them.
Not only are they potentially going to be resold right there in Texas, but they can move their way hundreds, if not thousands of miles away to people who have no idea that that car was once underwater in a flood.
And while it is technically legal to sell a flood car as long as the damage is disclosed on the title, sometimes it is not legal and sellers might even forge the documents. So according to AAA, you should always look for signs of flooding like a musty odor, rust, and watermarks and dirt on the seats and seatbelt.
Use all your senses when you go to see the car. Look everywhere. Look in every nook and cranny. Look for sand, silt, things that don't belong in a certain place.
It can be definitely hard to spot the damage you see here. This video from Carfax shows how scam artists can scrub away the evidence of a flood. That's why experts say always do a background check and have a mechanic inspect a used car before you buy it. Carfax recommends people looking for a used car shop at reputable dealerships, and if you're shopping online, only consider places where the vehicle's history is included. Hurricane Irma is forcing Central Florida attractions, including Walt Disney World's 4 theme parks, to close their doors this weekend. Disney officials say the parks will shut down starting today, and they will stay closed through Monday. The plan is to get back to normal operations on Tuesday. Disney's hotels will stay open, however. Universal Studios and SeaWorld will also be closed this weekend. The mayor of Seattle, Washington, is getting ready to ask Amazon to expand part of its headquarters into the city there. Amazon is inviting cities across North America to compete for what it's calling HQ2. It's a project worth $5 billion worth of construction that starts or is set to start in 2019. Mayor Ed Murray says he's, quote, very interested in seeing what Amazon could do to expand in Seattle. Murray says there could be a solution for Amazon in the Puget Sound region. And it's great news if you love to shop at Target. They are lowering prices. Target says it's slashing prices on thousands of items. And according to Target, its focus now is making items cheaper permanently instead of doing temporary sales promotions. This means they will be doing away with its weekly wow and bonus offer promotions. Target's announcement comes 2 weeks after Amazon said it would make a large assortment of products cheaper at Whole Foods. New this morning, the world of high fashion is headed to New York City. New York Fashion Week is going on right now. Between now and September 13th, designers will show off their latest collections to retailers, the fashion media, and of course the fans. New York Fashion Week began back in 1943. Today, it's a twice annual affair with events taking place every February and December. The New York event also launches a month-long series of fashion shows that include celebrations in London, Milan, and Paris. In health headlines, should you be concerned about how many calories and added sugars your children are consuming in their drinks? Kim Hutcherson has the details in today's Health Minute.
U.S. dietary guidelines say sugar-sweetened beverages should be limited or removed from your diet. But a recent study found that almost 2/3 of children in the U.S. consume at least one sugary beverage on any given day. About 30% consume 2 or more every day, despite health experts' recommendation that less than 10% of daily calories come from added sugars. The study was conducted by the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. Researchers analyzed data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey about the consumption of sugary drinks like soda, some fruit drinks, sports and energy drinks, and sweetened coffees and teas. They found that more than 64% of boys under 19 and more than 61% of girls in the same age group drank at least one sugar-sweetened beverage every day. The lead author of the study says that children who drink 2 or more sugar-sweetened beverages a day are getting more than 10% of their total calories from those drinks. The American Beverage Association said in a statement that it has launched various initiatives to encourage healthy calorie intake among Americans. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Your time now 5:19, and Harvey and Irma are the talk of the town all the way up in Washington State, but in this case, it's for a happy reason. Coming up next, we'll introduce you to the real-life Harvey and Irma that are celebrating many, many years of wedded bliss. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning and welcome back in. A real life couple named Harvey and Irma are absolutely amazed by the hurricanes that bear their names. Also amazing is the fact that they have been married for 75 years. Aaron Luna has their story.
When they first heard the news, they thought their daughter was playing a joke on them.
Oh, yeah, sure. And she looked at me and said, Mom, I'm telling you the truth. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because how could two devastating hurricanes be named after two very sweet people? 92-year-old Irma Schluter.
I remember the first airplane I saw.
And 104, Harvey Schluter.
So we all jumped up and went out and looked at the airplane.
The couple met in Spokane many, many years ago. Their siblings knew each other.
And I opened the door, I saw a soldier, and I shut the door because I didn't know who it was.
Irma would eventually open her heart to Harvey. The two married in 1942. Harvey opened a barbershop in town.
I think he's pretty special right now.
They raised 3 kids, which turned into a handful of grandkids. However, they've helped raise more than 100 foster children.
A lot of patience.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just the whole thing.
As for sharing names with 2 devastating storms, they're not sure what to think. It's hard for them to even watch the coverage.
They're so sad. I don't like that, and it bothers me.
In 75 years of marriage, they've learned at least one thing.
Each one's got to have love.
That and faith, says Irma. 2 things that were here before and will be here after the other Harvey and Irma pass into history.
Some important lessons there, definitely, as those storms have really been trying.
Yeah.
Another one coming up.
Yeah, another one for folks here. Watching Irma move across the Caribbean and the Western Atlantic was hard enough, and now we have to talk about it in our own backyard because we're going to have impacts here starting next week with Irma. So let's talk about it right now. It's still a very large storm. The impacts of Cuba really haven't done too much to it. Still has winds of 155 miles per hour, still moving to the west at around 12 miles per hour. Now we're starting to get those outer rain bands, some of the bigger thunderstorms with Irma move into the Keys and South Florida. And like we said, this is just the beginning. So let's talk about the impacts. The wind is going to be the most devastating thing for most of Florida. Right along the coast, storm surge is going to be a problem, but wind is going to be the main factor. Red, you have hurricane force winds. The tropical storm force winds, anything from 40 miles per hour to about 75 miles per hour, extend about 200 miles outside the center of the storm. So watch what the hurricane force winds do over the next 24 hours. Move right through the Keys and into southwestern Florida. We're talking about Fort Myers, Sarasota, even Tampa by the time we get to Sunday night into Monday, feeling the effects. And then basically the entire state covered up by tropical storm force winds by early Monday morning. The extreme western panhandle, the only place that really escapes those winds. And then watch what happens. It moves into Georgia and into East Alabama. We're going to see tropical storm force winds maybe as close as folks in Randolph, Chambers County. That's what we're talking about as far as the impacts of Irma around here. And then the power outages. Power outages are going to be a main story for us going forward. We're talking extensive power outages all across South Florida, lasting weeks, maybe a week or 2 for some folks down south. And those power outages could possibly creep up into Alabama as we start to see winds and rain from Irma starting on Monday. But around here this morning, not a bad deal at all. Very nice late summer morning, and late summer afternoon should be pretty nice as well. Temperatures in the 50s and even the 60s around here, and all clear on Storm Track radar and the satellite image. But we will see a few high clouds today, high clouds tomorrow. But rainfall from Irma most likely makes it in here by early on Monday, and that lasts into Tuesday as well. We could see rain and wind starting Monday morning into the afternoon, and then on Tuesday, lingering as well. 2 to 3 inches of rain between Monday and Thursday with 20 to 30 mile per hour winds also possible from Monday night into Tuesday and possibly Wednesday as well. So Irma's effects going to be felt all the way up into central Alabama and also into the Tennessee River Valley. So Irma not done yet once it hits land in Florida. So rainfall chances really start to ramp up by Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday. things do start to get better by Thursday and into Friday. But Irma, the big story for us as well next week. Jamie?
Thank you, Nate. Your time now 5:27 a.m. Evacuation orders covering the state of Florida, but some aren't leaving ahead of Hurricane Irma. Straight ahead, the beach community where plenty of locals are staying put this morning. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.